with the likes of AI and IoT, the demand for performance here and now is more important than it's ever been.
We live or die both by the front end and the back end interactions with our customers. We have over 500 million customers worldwide, and in the UK 17.9 million of them. They visit our website on average 1 million times a day, and so they are very key to our success.
The customers expect everything to be available 100% of the time, and they expect everything to happen as soon as they click the button.
Customer experience is your business experience now. You know, that's how they gauge us as an organisation. Within seconds, you know, you've gone from having a little problem by one customer and it's escalated halfway around the world. It's very quick to get a bad reputation in this day and age.
We need to be leading edge. We're working through a massive program of work again to be able to identify from our key channels the actual customer journeys that are involved within each of the channels, and then to be able to understand what is the architect, what are the applications, a server, a database, how is it all come together.
I've been working in telecoms for the last 13, 14 years, and I just love the telecoms market because of the energy, the pace, the speed, the innovation, the technology. We aim at becoming a digital telco. It means that all the processes need to be digital, everything needs to be automated, things need to happen in real time. We need to be able to react faster. Time to market becomes absolutely crucial.
Tools to be able to see the issue, to be able to fix the issue, and to also preempt and prevent is one of our key goals. We've seen a drastic change in our culture and collaboration with our business stakeholders, whereas before it was a pointing the finger straight away. It's more of a bit of a collaborative approach because we've got the same transparent views.
Before we had AppDynamics, we had, certainly within the digital space, probably 5 different monitoring tools that we were using to do different aspects of the monitoring.
We are now able to actually use AppDynamics to give us a full end-to-end view in just one single pane of glass.
Hello, welcome back to Cisco Live Barcelona 2019, and welcome to those of you that are joining. My name is Nish Parker, and as I said, I'm here in the Cisco TV studio. We're now going to do a deep dive into service provider, and we're making a lot of exciting announcements in this space. Lots of things happening in the industry, specifically around 5G. And my good friend Steve Moulter is out there in the SP Hub. How's it going there, Steve?
Hello, my friend Nish. Not only is it going great out here in the SP Hub, look at this pack of humanity behind me here. We broadcast back out to the studio, I don't know, an hour and a half or so ago. There was nobody here, and now it's flooded now that the doors are open. I warned you, that's why you got to be here at the show. All right, as you said, platform for digital business, this is the service provider hub back around me. All of these desks back over here. We are toward the back of the Cisco showcase, but boy, it is so full and so dynamic. This is the one-stop shop to explore all the great demos around capabilities like 5G and network slicing and NFVI. Plus, you get things like cloud initiatives here and automation and security and managed services. So much to do back here. Now, follow me, Steve. We're going to try to mush through the crowd here. This is one of my favorite areas back here in the Service Provider Hub. It's not running right now, but for the folks here at the show, this is a new reality, running with the 5G Bull. This is an immersive 5G VR demo setup. Hopefully it'll start to run as we're talking. While you are doing this immersive demo, what's cool is you get an on-the-spot assessment of your organizational digital transformation readiness. You also get to see how to generate revenue using 5G. And it's loads of fun, so I think it's just kicking up right now, about to press start. There we go. So this is why you need to be here at the show, is to have these great experiences. It's great to watch it on the broadcast, that's fine, but it's entirely different to be here in the room and be part of the fun, the energy, and the excitement. Other things you can do here in the platform for digital business area. Redefine your network with 5G, automation, security. You can transform your internal IT as well. You can offer more compelling experiences to your customers. You can go to market faster and stronger using Cisco managed services. So we've got service provider testimonials back over here. On the back side of this wall back over here, on the VR demo, we've got trusted 5G architecture, so much to see and do. So here's what we're going to do. Nish, I want to come back to you in the studio, but don't take too long. We're going to head over and see a couple of live demos and show it all to our viewing audience. So Nish, back to you just for the moment.
Thanks, Steve. I'm definitely going to head down to the SP Hub because that demo looks really good fun, so I'll definitely give that a go. So later on today, we have the Innovation Showcase, and I want to make sure I get the title right, because it's about the network of the future and accelerating human communications. And I love that that is a common theme. It's about bringing together the human side and the technology, and it's an ever-increasing digital world, so making sure that the human side is still there. That is going to be with Sumit Arora, who is the Senior Vice President and General Manager of SP Networking. So we saw there from Steve, a huge focus on 5G, and companies are really starting to prepare for 5G, even though it's not going to become mainstream for another couple of years. And there's a lot of disruption expected across lots of different industries, from restaurants through to automotive and retail. So start planning now, I think, is the message that the SP team is sending. So Steve, back to you in the SP Hub. What have you got for us?
Thank you, my friend. You know, here at the SP Hub, it's all about knowledge. When you're here at the show, you can stop by, you can talk with these experts who are all around us and learn everything that you want and need to know about Cisco's innovations in the 5G space. And we're going to do that right now. So I'm going to turn over to this side to Pranod. How are you, my friend? Has it been just a crazy show, insane, talking to millions of people?
It's a privilege to be in a place like Cisco Live, where you meet such fantastic customers and fantastic people within Cisco. It's absolutely a privilege.
It's fantastic. Can you show us a little bit about what's going on? So this is 5G network security. Security, I think, may be the linchpin. None of it works without the security element as part of the overlay and the underlay. Why don't you kind of talk us through what you've been showing people here?
I completely agree with you. Security should be foundational. Here, it's all about 5G security. Here, we're speaking about when you go from 3G to 4G to 5G, what are the real threat surfaces on 5G, and how can Cisco innovation help the customers to secure their infrastructure better. So here what you have is Stealth Watch, which is our visibility layer. And it's one of these fantastic innovation things what Cisco has been doing. We can also understand malicious packets within an encrypted traffic as well. This is the best thing you could ever happen to the packet core.
Very cool. So I'm going to start kind of with a foundational. So again, security is foundational. First of all, why the hype about 5G? And second, within that hype, how do we make sure that we can deliver it as securely as possible to the end user?
And that's a very real question, and that is what all the customers ask, all right? So the recent standardization has been finalized on September, October the last year, and what came out of it is an extra layer of encryption for the users on 5G. And a different method of encryption layer as well. What do I mean by that? Today, if somebody needs to connect to an 4G, it needs to have a SIM card or an eSIM card. And 5G, that is out of the window, which means that any IoT device which could connect to the 5G need not be SIM or eSIM based at all. It can be any device which could connect to the 5G. This is where IoT really becomes important. When we say IoT is important for 5G, it is because the very layer of authentication mechanism has exploded, which means that any device can now connect. And 5G is basically a cloud-native architecture as well, which means that each and every component can be deployed on the cloud as a container, which means that you don't have those hardware interfaces where you can understand if you have any kind of malicious traffic or no. Now, it is purely invisible. This is where security really is important.
Fantastic. Good overview. I'm going to actually switch back to the other side. Make sure that you come down and visit Pranod over here. He'll answer all your questions. Well done. I'm going to go this way. Nitin, come on over here. How are you, my friend? Good to see you. All right, so now we're talking end-to-end 5G network slicing. What are you showing on the demos here when people stop by?
So when we come to 5G network slicing, right, we're talking about what SPs can do for their consumer and customer experience. It's all about segregated, secure, and differentiated customer experience. It's not about just providing more bandwidth. It's actually about changing the entire customer landscape. How do they give a dedicated customer experience? And in our demo here, we're showcasing how can they build out an end-to-end virtualized network for their customers, where they're going to have gaming applications that are going to throttle or run at 20 gigabit a second, and we're going to have enterprises that are going to require security so that they can have machines and robots build cars, and that is the essence of our demo here.
Fantastic. Let's break this out a little bit. People come by, they visit you here at the show, they see the demo. What do you hear on the differences between the service provider experience and the end user experience, where we can put those two pieces together together here at Cisco?
Sure. So when we talk about service provider experience, the experience for service providers is, with 5G specifically, right, it's going to be vast disaggregated networks. So when we look at them, they're going to have the ability to do this in an automated fashion and assure a level of service where there's a lot of automation and orchestration Cisco's providing them for service providers. From a customer experience perspective, they have a feeling of trust and security that I am going to get a level of service that I am paying for. I'm willing to pay top dollars for it, but give me an experience, give me a dedicated network. I don't want to ride on the same network as a YouTube user or any other gamer. I want a dedicated network for myself, for my needs, so that I can have utmost productivity of my factories.
That's perfect. What is the big differentiation with regards to keeping up with the 5G demand? What do we do unique here at Cisco that really nobody else can offer?
In my experience, and what we are doing unique at Cisco is we're able to stitch together the business experience with the technical experience. When I say that, we're looking at the business processes for our customers in service provider and their end customers as well. We're stitching it together through the technical solutions we're providing. And that is the essence and true value we bring in.
Fantastic. Nitin, really appreciate the opportunity to talk with both of you guys. Great demos back here. This is why you need to be live here at the show, is to come in, have the interactions, get all the information you need, do it one-to-one. So make sure you get to Cisco Live so you can be a part of all of it. We're going to head back up to you, Nish, in the studio. Thanks for the time in the SP Hub.
Thanks, Steve. So we're going to have an innovation network around the Network of the Future session very soon. Just to highlight as well is, if you can't wait for next year for Cisco Live Barcelona, Cisco are actually going to be back here in Barcelona for Mobile World Congress at the end of next month. So make sure you come to our booth and come check us out. So let's head over to the Innovation Showcase, learn a bit more about the Network of the Future, and use hashtag CLEUR. See you soon.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Innovation Showcase Theater. My name's Toby and I have the pleasure of being your host today. Now we all know that to thrive in the new world of digital business, companies have to innovate at an unprecedented rate. So we're bringing you 11 sessions here in the Innovation Showcase Theater, and where we're going to be sharing with you the latest solutions, service innovations, and best practices, which we know will engage and inspire you here at Cisco Live 2019. Now today we'll be looking into the network of the future, accelerating human communication. And to tell us about it, it is my pleasure to welcome to the stage Sumit Arora.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Toby, and welcome everyone. It's a real pleasure to be here, and my hello to everyone from the service provider community. Thank you for joining us. I'm Sumit Arora, and I lead the service provider routing business for Cisco. And today, it is going to be about innovation in this space, in the service provider space. And before I get into the nitty-gritty of all the amazing technology we build, I want to take a moment and step back a little bit and focus on a bigger need, because innovation is about a new match between a need and a solution. So let's look back a little bit at communications and human history. Clearly, 1.8 million years ago, the development of language, and then many other things, printing press, social media recently, evolution in mobile networking. The pace of innovation in communication has only increased. Now what that means is, this has had a profound effect on the work that, on human society, right? This increased pace of innovation means that it has shaped how we have evolved as a society. In fact, it has shaped our DNA. Now that's a big statement I make, and that's a critical statement, but I make it for a reason. The service provider space, which is my customer base, you all have played a commendable role in driving this acceleration of how humans connect with each other, with machines, to machines, but after all, it's all about how we are evolving as a society, as a community. So I just want to celebrate SPs. It's the SPs who have done it. It's not always profitable, but it is a huge huge mission. So that's the big one, the need for human communication, and it's having an impact. The impact is big, and it's real. Now, let me share a few examples with you. When we talk about these big goals, like saving species, and I know it's a little outside of networking right now, but it's important. If you look at wildlife reserves in Africa, wherever they connected endangered species with safety and security systems, poaching dropped to 0. It's proven, it's happening. Similarly, the advent of internet has meant that the access to education is more universal, it's democratized. So a farmer's son in a poor place has the same access that any one of us has, which is an amazing thing for human development. Again, enabled by service providers, right? World hunger, huge problems, right? We always say it cannot be solved. Sumit, or please don't focus on world peace and world hunger. We always say that. But let me actually share this with you. The amount of food we produce in the world is actually 30% more than what we need. There is so much wastage. There is so many issues in agriculture in terms of efficiency, in food transportation in terms of efficiency. All that, as it gets connected, as it gets digitized, can help us solve world hunger. This is real. And again, at the center of all this is service provider. So, if I could do a round of applause for SPs, this is where I would do it. Thank you for everything that you've done. Now, we in Cisco are really fortunate and proud to be part of this journey with you. We do see, as this talk is about innovation, I'm going to focus on some challenges. But the word challenges is also the word needs, because needs drive innovation. They drive solution, right? So let's take a look at some of the challenges. Now, in our space, the service provider space, clearly, we all hear about the massive explosion in bandwidth use. We hear about lots of devices coming on the network. We hear about lots of new applications coming onto the network. Now, this is a critical area. What we see, what we expect is in the next 5 years or 4 years, we will have users consume 4 times more bandwidth than they were consuming in 2017. All this while the revenue, average revenue per user remains flat. So that fundamental challenge we've shared with you, we know about that. But there is more to this. There is OpEx, that is 4 to 5 times CapEx. That's a big one. There is a strategic challenge in the SP space, which is, does the end customer of a service provider connect with the SP, identify with the SP, or does the person identify with the things that are delivered over the connectivity? And that's a strategy issue. That's a strategic imperative for SPs to solve. Because who owns the customer is a big issue, right? So that's a big one. Now, in this environment of explosive growth, flat CapEx or flat CapEx, flat revenue, high OpEx, right? The need to identify with the customer. There are a few more. Let me add a few more to the mix. We all have come to utilize this infrastructure for very critical things. The world's business, countries, governments, all the consumers, we all rely on the network for everything. Very critical things. So this is critical infrastructure. And we absolutely want it to be secure and trusted. So that's an important area. And it's not just about costs. It's not just about trust and security. We also need to drive new revenue. We as SPs need to create new revenue streams. So saving money is important. Making money is even more important. So this is a, when we meet with different CTOs, CXOs, CEOs around the world, new revenue is a big area of focus for SPs. So these are all the needs and the challenges, which obviously means it's a wonderful time to be in service provider. Why? Because when you have these challenges and these needs that are at a scale level that no other sector has, it's going to drive new innovation, right? So let's get into that. So we believe that the solution to those needs and challenges is through the network of the future. So what is the network of the future? We believe the network of the future is one that is built for mass scale, which basically means you can scale it and rapidly scale it because it has to keep scaling. So that's important. Second, the network of the future has to be one that is fully automated, because when you are automated, it is not just about reducing operational expense, it is about being close to your customer. It's about your customer's experience. And that's the big driver for automation, because that's what automation enables. And it needs to be intent-driven, right? So that's second. Third, as we discussed, the network has to be absolutely trusted and secure. This is a critical aspect, and sometimes we don't focus on it as much. This needs to be designed in, built in, right? So that's third piece. And last but not least, think of the network as a platform, as a hotbed of innovation. Why do we need that? Because we want the network to enable innovative new services that make new revenue. So this is our vision or framework for the network of the future to address the challenges we talked about. So let me double click further on how Cisco can be a beautiful partner, amazing partner, to drive the network of the future. Excuse me. So what we have done is we have taken that requirement set for the solution, the network of the future, and converted that into a strategy framework, a technology strategy framework. So let me talk a little bit about that. Clearly, designing and building in foundationally trust and security into everything we do. So that's number one. Second is building hardware, software, systems for mass scale. And we'll look at fundamental innovation. We'll double click on this innovation further. I'll go there. Anything that needs to be scaled, it is absolutely critical to do it via simplification. You cannot scale something unless you have simpler building blocks that you replicate. So that's important. It's not just about building amazing routers and switches. We do that, right? We have to do that. But it's about building amazing networks. And it's about building the services on top of networks. So what does that mean? It means that we need to focus on architectures, end-to-end network architectures. These end-to-end network architectures are ones that focus on flexibility, because there is one more thing that is happening in the network, which is it's not just exploding, it's also shifting. So traffic is not moving the way it used to move. There is more multi-cloud environments. There is more handoffs. There are lots of shifts occurring in the traffic. The percentage of video is increasing. So we have to focus on architectures that enable these shifts to happen flexibly. So in that context, we are focused on a converged IP infrastructure. We are focused on massive levels of subscribers, you and I. Excuse me. I'll grab some water. We are focused on supporting massive number of subscribers in the network. This is important. So this requires innovation in terms of cloud scale, cloud native subscriber management, requires us to continue to use network processors for high-speed data planes. So that's a shift. Third one is the requirement to peer in more places lots of distribution and peering, which basically is another area of innovation for us. Fourth one is as content gets closer to consumers. And why is that happening? Again, for economics, for experience. It's important that we take innovation to where data is, because that means data is spreading, right? And we heard about that in David Geckler's presentation as well, and in Roland's presentation. So that's a critical shift for us. And in everything we do, intent-driven automation, intent-based automation is absolutely a table stakes. Everything should be automated. Now, once we have done that, the next piece is, if in the SP world, what I see around the world today is it's not just about connectivity. It is about what happens on top of connectivity. Like, it's not about giving secure internet to you, but it's about giving safety alongside that, right? It's about making sure you don't go to the wrong places, making sure wrong things don't come over. So it's about giving collaboration. It's giving collaboration tools. So there is a lot of focus and emphasis on that innovation layer on top, which is a critical one for the network of the future. So with that framework, I want to jump into the next level of innovation, double click on the building blocks that we are driving to support these pillars. So let me start with systems. So when we use the word systems, we imply software, hardware, and we also imply the network, because the largest distributed system in the world is actually the internet. So when we look at the systems approach, clearly we are looking at hardware. In the world of hardware, it's about flexibility and efficiency. So the focus of Cisco is, how do we deliver routing and switching innovation, for example, in form factors that allow you to use the right amount in the right place. That's an important one. But you have to do it with the most power and space efficiency. So don't think of this as a boring old area. This is actually still an area where there is innovation, fundamental innovation happening, right? Software. Software has to be one that supports massive automation through APIs, through telemetry, those aspects, zero-touch provisioning. Software has to be one that supports that trust and security we talked about, and I'll double-click on that. Software has to be one that supports simplification, and I'll talk about that as well further. And when you bring these hardware and software systems together in a network, it has to support those architecture shifts that we talked about. So this is a critical part, building block for the innovation, right, that we are driving. Now let's double-click a little bit into systems. This is a unique area of innovation for us. Excuse me. I'm having to speak loudly because of a lot of background noise here. So silicon, a lot of different approaches exist in silicon. There are people who bet on using only their silicon. There are people who bet purely on using what's available in the industry called merchant silicon, so-called merchant silicon. What we have done is we have focused on both, because we believe that networking needs to be delivered with the right economics and right flexibility in terms of scale and state. So what we have done is we have embraced both. We intend to offer silicon diversity and choice with both best-of-breed Cisco silicon as well as merchant silicon. Idea at the end of the day is our customers benefit. And this is the change we made a few years ago, and we are extremely excited about it, and we intend to continue this path. And this year, we should see even more innovation coming across the entire spectrum in silicon as 400 gig comes online. So very excited about 400 gig. You will hear a lot about it this year, and I think the Cisco portfolio will evolve in a very nice way to support that. All right. A lot of times we focus on silicon, we forget about optics. But when you look at the network and its economics and its progress, optics is a major area of innovation. When we did the transition to 100 gig, some of you may recall, if you have been around in the industry, that we actually had to develop our own 100 gig optics to help the industry move forward. So what we do with the 400 gig transition is we do a similar approach, which is invest in the right technology players so that the right technology can be built, and also invest in our own technology for 400 gig so that we can move the industry to a new level of flexibility and economics. Now, you would have heard about our Luxtera acquisition. We'll share a lot more details when it closes. But at the high level, we're extremely excited about furthering technology innovation in the optics space, and there's some exciting technology that's coming on board there. All right, so systems, silicon, optics, looks like we built an amazing routing technology. We're obviously looking forward to 400 gig this year on that front. The other building block in innovation is automation. And automation in everything we do is literally like security in everything we build. Now, in this area, clearly the focus for us has been on the entire life cycle. Whether it's planning, whether it's design, whether it's implement, whether it's operate, whether it is optimize, we are focused on the entire life cycle for the service provider. Why are we doing that? Because OpEx in general is 4 to 5 times CapEx. That's the problem statement. But it is not just about the expenses. When you have a fully automated network, it changes your ability to deliver innovation to your customers. It changes the ability of the SP to improve the customer's experience. And that is a strategic imperative. So with capabilities like EPNM or Network Services Orchestrator or WAN Automation Engine, we are helping hundreds of SPs today automate their network operations. But we're taking this another level. With the Crosswork Automation Platform, which we launched 12 months ago, and we have an exciting array of new applications and outcomes coming out this year, we are going to help SPs operationalize automation in a new way, with a new paradigm. It's going to be telemetry driven along with traditional methods. It's going to be driven with intent-based configuration engines like NSO. And we're going to enable outcomes like driving change in the network in a much more efficient way. Social troubleshooting, so people can troubleshoot together, deploy machine learning in the troubleshooting, and create amazing experiences for your customers by reducing the mean time to know, which means the mean time to root cause problems. And this is just 2 examples of what we are doing. There are many more that are coming out. So a lot of innovation in automation that is occurring, and it's a building block for us. All right, so let's go to trust and security. I am sure that none of us want any of the traffic in the network to go to a place where we don't want it to go. Is that fair? So with that thought in mind, we have been working on this for many years to take the security and trust of infrastructure to another level. Now, when we look at this problem, we look at it holistically. We look at hardware, we look at software, we look at the supply chain, we look at devices like network systems, we look at the network, we look at the users, the applications, and the things that are coming on the network, and we're designing and architecting an entire approach for everything. So just to tease you a little bit, because we will have a lot more coming out this year in this space, think of fundamental innovations. How do you know that the hardware that is actually running in your network is the hardware that was designed and built and not modified? How do you know that the software that is running on your routers and switches is exactly the software that was developed by Cisco, for example, in this case, and signed by Cisco and has nothing else on it? How do you know that when that system is running, nobody has inserted malware on it? How do you protect it from attacks? The network infrastructure gets attacked every day, many hundreds of times. That's what all the statistics and data shows. So how do you keep it bulletproof so that your information, my information, the government's information, country's information is secure and it's in the right place. This is a big one. And I really encourage all of us to make sure that we take this one to heart. We have taken it to heart. It's designed into the system. So you will hear more on this. This is an area of innovation for us. All right. Now that we built systems, we put the best silicon in it, 400 gig, massive density, lower cost, lower power. We put the best optics in it. That was important, right? We made sure it was trusted and secure. We have automation to support. Now let's look at the network, because at the end of the day, we are building networks. So in the past, we talked about segment routing innovation with you. Just as a refresher, segment routing enables an application to get the path, the best path, relevant to that application in the network. So if somebody is playing video games, they get maybe a path that supports low latency so that the two people can experience that real-time gaming environment. Whereas if somebody is sending very secure information, they get a fully encrypted path. So segment routing can enable you to drive different applications, and think different applications as different revenue streams on the same network, right? And it can do it at scale and in a simplified fashion. We are happy to share with you that this year we expect 60% of our SP community, our service providers, to deploy segment routing. So why are they doing that? Why are we doing that? We are doing that because segment routing enables simplification of the network. That's reason number one. Second, segment routing is designed with SDN in mind. So it's designed for automation and control, especially with feedback. So it's defined for that proactive, intelligent control. And third, segment routing with that ability to support different types of applications forms the basis for new revenue streams. So it is my both a matter of pride as well as my humble ask that let's continue to build networks that support multiple revenue generating streams. That's good for our health of the SP and our own health. So that's important. All right. So now that we built the network and we put services on it, let's talk a little bit about architecture shifts, because that's important. Now, what do I mean by architecture shifts? What I mean by that is it is no longer desirable to build separate IP networks for separate revenue generating streams. Not desirable. It's just too expensive. It's difficult to build, difficult to operate. So clearly, the convergence or the consensus is on converged IP infrastructure. What we want is the same IP infrastructure to support radio, essentially LTE or 5G, to support cable, to support TDM, to support different applications, to support different revenue streams, all on one converged infrastructure that drives the SLAs properly. That's kind of the vision, that's the goal. And most SPs are on that path. So that's happening. And a lot of our architecture with that segment routing, EVP, and building block enables that. So that's one big shift we enable. Second, by 2021, more than 80% of the traffic on your network, on the SP's network, is video. So we are a video delivery network, but we can't ignore the other applications. We have to take care of them too. But we are a video delivery network. So what does that mean? It means that the sources of the video, which means the content providers, cannot be in 2 or 3 locations. Then you're going to haul that traffic across your entire network. That's very expensive. So what's happening is traffic and the content is moving closer to you and I, so that it traverses the least in the network. So what does that mean? It means that we have to peer with content providers like Netflix or anybody else, anybody who provides content. We have to peer with them in more places in the network. Now what happens with that? Peering is the source of the most denial of service attacks. peering is also the source of the most and the biggest mistakes in routing, causing the biggest number of outages. So one of our architectural solutions that is to build a solution that takes the most capital efficient routing, combines it with automation to protect against routing loops, combines it with automation to protect against DOS attacks, and we create a full solution. That's what we call as smart peering. So one of the big areas of innovation for us in this year is what we call as innovation in architectures, which brings fundamental building blocks together to create a unique solution. Now, in about 3 weeks, we're going to be back here. At least I will be back here. And this building and all these buildings will look very different. It's very amazing how they do that. And we're going to be back here for MWC, the Mobile World Congress. And for the last 2-3 years, there has been a lot of talk about 5G. But I must say, this year, 5G is real. So I would be remiss if I don't spend time on 5G with you. So let me talk a little bit about that. When Cisco looks at the advent of 5G, our focus is on the service provider's profitability. And the reason we do that is we don't want 5G investment from service provider to be only in the cost column to maintain an existing business. We want 5G investment from the SP to be in the cost column to maintain existing business and to grow new business. That's why in Cisco, we are bringing together all of our assets in an architectural fashion to help SPs drive new revenue generating streams. So what are those assets? Clearly, IP networking. We are known for that. Security and trust, we talked about that. Automation, because if you're scaling, you're going massive, you're going Internet of Things, cannot do it without automation. Packet core, because mobility without the control plane and the data plane for a mobile network cannot do it, right? Data center assets, because as content and data moves outside of public cloud, private cloud, multi-cloud, to telco cloud, to edge cloud, data is going to be in many places. And what that means is innovation needs to be in many places, and especially data center innovation. So data center assets, and then all the value-added services on top, because it's not just about connectivity. It's about safe internet, not just about internet. It's about collaboration, not just about connection. So bringing all those assets with our enterprise capabilities, which we are known for, we are partnering with SPs in a new way because we want 5G to be about new revenue streams, and that's a big one. Now let me double click a little bit on the IP networking piece for 5G. I'm excited to share that there is a lot of action in the world in terms of upgrading IP infrastructure to support 5G. After all, cell phones or smartphones are going to increase multifold orders of magnitude in bandwidth. That's going to happen. Now, that means network infrastructure needs to be upgraded. So we are going to do that. And we are having amazing success in the world with service providers on upgrading IP infrastructure. And why is that? Because we are RAN agnostic. And that's a critical thing. Because as I said, it's not just about running your RAN traffic through the IP infrastructure. It's about making IP infrastructure ready for the next decade in terms of multiple different use cases. Mobile broadband is one of those use cases. So this is a big one. And with our segment routing innovation, which enables network slicing, we can help at scale make a single network support different applications. So a fully encrypted path, a fully resilient path, a low latency path, a normal best effort path, all that is possible on the same network. And all that should mean different revenue streams for the SP. And that's our vision, and that resonates with the customer base. And this is an area of innovation. Doing this at scale is not easy. So that's the innovation piece here. Because in the past, we had approaches, but they never scaled. Now with SR, we can scale it. With segment routing, we can scale it. It's a big one for us. Now, it's not just about products and technologies, right? We talked about the network of the future. We talked about the strategy framework, the focus on scale, and those aspects. We talked about the building blocks that support silicon, optics, systems, segment routing, automation, and so on, the architectures. It's about customer experience. And our services team, which is now called the customer experience team, is obsessed with customer experience. And they have global scale, global reach, and expertise, amazing expertise to help achieve outcomes. Starting from advice, consulting, to design and implementation, to being able to skill staff. One of the big discussions we have with SP customers is about skills. So being able to do that training, being able to run managed services or support your services, and also two critical areas that are extremely important today. Being able to do security advocacy, security design, because that's critical. And being able to automate. And I'll share an example with you where our CX team literally enabled a provider in a big way. So we'll talk about that. So there is innovation. Obviously, I talked about many areas of innovation, a broad spectrum today. It's a teaser. You will see a lot more coming through this year. But innovation is best when we talk about innovation in action. So let me share a few examples from our SP community, from you all, that we are extremely proud of to be partners with. So let's talk about three of them. First one, a major SP in Europe, simplification. So what this SP did is they implemented segment routing in their network, which enabled configuration to be reduced by 80%. So 80% simplification in configuration. This is real. This is in production. They also were able to improve latency by more than 50%. So latency reduced by more than 50%. Now what that means is, this is what is achieved, but more than this, it's the progression from here. They are ready to support new services for their customers at speed with better performance. That's what they have readied themselves for, right? Let me take another example, this time from APJ. So one of these customers built a brand new, largest IP MPLS network in the world. Ramped up 160 million new subscribers in 18 months and increased the average consumption of data from mobile, and that has social implications, that has economic implications, by 40x in 18 months. But the best thing is our CX team partnered with them to make sure that this biggest network in the world was fully automated, which basically means they can push new innovation into this network in days. Not in months, not in years, in days. That is a competitive differentiator. And the third example, again from Europe, from here, nearby, is of an SP that went beyond connectivity. That said, hey, I'm not just going to offer my enterprise customer internet connectivity or business connectivity. I'm going to offer my enterprise customer safety, security. 99% of this SP's customer base has kept that security and safety service, even though it costs a little more. 99% adoption. Win-win. The customer is protected, the end customer is protected from malware, from attacks, and the SP has an increased ARPU. So the message, folks, is very clear. We are extremely excited to partner with service providers. Innovation is hot in this space because the challenges are big for us together as a community. So don't ever think that networking is done. I think the journey has only begun, because we are going to take this to a level that has never been achieved before in terms of scale, in terms of automation, in terms of trust and security, and in terms of this being and us being a platform for innovation where everybody can innovate to rapidly create services and enable new revenue. So I'm extremely excited and proud to be part of this space, and I look forward to our journey together. For any feedback, reach out to us, enjoy the demos and sessions, and look forward to more from Cisco in the coming months. Very excited. Thank you.
Another big thank you to Samit, and thank you guys for coming out. Now, if you have any questions,
have you ever been in a meeting and you tried to present something, but you had the worst time trying to connect your cables to your device?
Or you didn't have the right technology and you had to have people huddle over your laptop to view your presentation?
Now, with Cisco WebEx Share, sharing in local meetings is easy.
WebEx Share is a small device that simply plugs into the back of any HDMI display. Just follow a few simple steps and you're ready to go.
WebEx Share pairs with any WebEx Meetings or WebEx Team app, allowing you to locally share a document, an application, or even your whole screen on the large display, without cables or dongles.
You can also display content shared from remote participants. This makes viewing even easier for everyone in the room.
WebEx Share also offers the same simple experience as Cisco's large devices, making it more intuitive, especially for first-time users.
Similar to Cisco's video devices, the system will wake up to greet you when you walk into the room. You can preview the calendar for the day, so you know if the room is booked or not. It also prompts you to share content from your laptop or mobile device.
WebEx Share also has occupancy sensors that track the usage of the room, even when it isn't being used. These rich analytics and insights can help you better optimize your space utilization. For more information on WebEx Share, visit our website and be sure to follow us on social media.
And welcome back to our live broadcast, coming to you from Cisco Live 2019 here in Barcelona. We're so glad to have you tuning in with us from all over the world, wherever you happen to be. We're grateful to have you on the live stream. Remember, you can get to that live stream in a number of different ways, but keep watching on CiscoLive.com. That's where we really want to see you. Keep reaching out to us also using hashtag CLEUR. For all that social media, we want to hear from every single one of you. Right now, we have got a great interview taking place here in the studio with Vodafone, one of our phenomenal partners here at Cisco. I've got Mark Bennett right over here on this side, Head of Connectivity Products with Vodafone, and we've got Jan van der Lage, our Cisco Global Marketing Executive for Vodafone. And gentlemen, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Yeah. Hi, Mark.
Hey.
I mean, good to see you again. Last time at Cisco Live, we launched SD-WAN here. The same place. I mean, in the meantime, we also have put some new enhancements, technology enhancement on the portfolio. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's been a hell of a year for us. We're seeing significant traction with our SD-WAN options. We have a particular version from Cisco that's doing very, very well. Over the last 12 months, we've introduced 2 new capabilities on that version. Firstly, Universal CPE that supports a range of virtualized network functions that can cost-effectively be deployed across customer sites. And secondly, a more intelligent advanced analytics portal to go with our SD-WAN offer that helps customers to better picture how their network is being used by critical applications, and that drives them into how they can change the application priorities and settings to meet the needs of their business.
That's great. And how customers are looking to adopt this technology?
Yeah, we find enterprises are looking for much more agile infrastructure to meet the needs of cloud and digital. And today at Cisco Live, we've been showcasing our software-defined network products that help them with that need, in addition to cloud-based UC and contact center solutions, which is all about agility for our customers.
Okay, so what customers achieve through this transformation then?
Well, for me, SD-WAN accelerates the future of work, supported by data-driven intelligence and analytics and automation. There's a number of drivers. A more efficient network infrastructure, of course, more reliable, higher availability networks, and finally, agility. I think it's a myth that cost is the key driver for SD-WAN. Reality is that the hybrid infrastructure that SD-WAN is provided over, internets and MPLS paths, etc., the benefits of that financially are well known. What SD-WAN does is it also improves the management of the networks. It simplifies that, so it helps customers to further reduce TCO. But I think the real drivers are much more about reliability. So in the past, with networks, customers would have worried about bandwidth and routing. Now, with SD-WAN, they can really focus on their applications and business outcomes. Couple that with zero-touch provisioning that really enables much more agile networks for our customers, so they can roll out new applications and services when they need to meet the lines of business and adapt that network constantly in the new world.
So the customers are in a good transformation. What are the key challenges there?
It's a good question. We see three key challenges. So first one is, how can we make the migration risk-free? For me, I was speaking to a CIO recently, and they told me that changing a network, you don't step into it lightly. It's like changing the tiles on your roof. Those tiles on the roof of your house, they're protecting critical infrastructure. So what we're doing in Vodafone is making it seamless and easy for customers to migrate to SD-WAN, from how we take them through the journey, what it's going to do to their business, demonstrate it, do proof of concepts, to the migration itself. The second challenge is about uninterrupted business. So that network is fundamental to digital and cloud connectivity, etc. It has to be of high availability. So in Vodafone, we're now combining fixed and mobile links into customer sites to deliver higher availability for a relatively low uplift in price. And the third one is, let's make sure that network future-proofs the organization. So in Vodafone, a good example of this is how we've integrated software-defined WAN with our Cloud Connect product that connects to a range of public cloud providers in at least 18 cities across the globe.
So Vodafone and Cisco have a long-standing relationship. What is Cisco's role on the network portfolio from Vodafone?
So SD-WAN is a strategic priority for Vodafone. We're rolling out to our MNC accounts. Additionally, we've got a great opportunity in Vodafone's operating companies, where we're a challenger to attack the incumbents and start to roll out a network that will transform the enterprise. We've been working with Cisco for some time. Their expertise in networking, software and hardware is legendary. And we've taken that expertise and adapted our IPVPN products and services that often use Cisco managed routers to SD-WAN. We started some time back introducing software-defined WAN capabilities, application visibility, for example. And then we integrated the Viptela capability into our product set, a true cloud-based platform. So we've combined that Cisco SD-WAN Viptela offer now with our Meraki solution that tends to be provided to smaller customers, which comes with integrated security and wireless LAN. And we've got two great products in the portfolio.
So one question for the audience as well. I mean, what is your advice to your customers?
That's an interesting question. So for me, every customer's deployment of SD-WAN is going to be different. So it's important as service providers to co-create with your customers. While the product may be relatively standard, every customer is going to have different needs in terms of how they deploy it. They've got different future drivers. They've got different priorities and different applications to think about. So co-create, work with your customers, and deploy the network that best works for them.
Thank you very much. Now I'm handing over to Steve.
Thank you, Jan.
Thank you so much, Jan-Mark. Really appreciate it. Great conversation. To find out more about what's going on at Vodafone, make sure that you check back in with us throughout the show. Again, one of our fantastic partners. The more the merrier. We always love to have these great conversations. We appreciate the time, gentlemen. All right, so we are going to go out to the show floor in the Innovation Showcase. I'm seeing on the monitor back behind me that my pal Agri Misabayeva is out with Sumit Arora, our Senior VP of Service Provider Network Systems. Just finished another fantastic Innovation Showcase. What were you hearing out there, Agadim?
Thank you, Steve. Indeed, I'm here at the Innovation Showcase, and Sumit Arora has just completed his Innovation Showcase talk. Hi, Sumit. Thank you for being here.
Hello, Igarim. So pleasure. Big pleasure to be here today.
Thank you. Well, we've got a number of questions to you about the telecom industry development. So what are the latest trends in the telecom industry?
Well, when we talk about trends, we look at it from different angles. So I would say one big way to look at it is from a very fundamental perspective, which is, hey, am I at the right cost, efficiency point? Am I generating new revenue and bringing new innovation to drive new revenue? And third is, are we doing it in a secure and safe fashion? So that's one way to look at it. But then there are the technology trends, clearly, which are also important. The advent of 5G is a big talk. Trust and security is a big area of focus. And automation, I believe, is another big area of focus for service providers today.
Right. I'm glad you bring up 5G, and I think that was a lot of the content of your talk as well, focus on 5G. So how do you see 5G driving the industry in the future?
I think clearly SPs are looking at 5G as a major inflection point. Now, of course, there is the fundamental innovation in driving more bandwidth, reducing latency, driving more connectivity. So that's there. That's important. That's critical evolution, and that'll happen. But SPs are also looking at 5G as an inflection point in terms of driving a bigger change in what they offer to their customers, what new services can they bring to bear, what new applications can be enabled, because some of the innovations in 5G are orders of magnitude different. And when orders of magnitude different innovation happens in the building blocks, it essentially implies new things get created. So that's an exciting area, and SPs are looking at that. And I believe, as I said earlier, I think SPs are looking at clearly a transformation in terms of security and automation in everything that they do. So I think those are the big ones that they're looking at.
So how would you say Cisco is different in positioning ourselves in the 5G future?
I think Cisco is very uniquely positioned. If you look at our strengths in Cisco, I think we have a lot of assets that architecturally come together to enable an outcome for our customers. First of all, our focus is clearly on service providers' profitability. We don't want 5G, or SPs don't want 5G just to be in the cost column, with the justification being an existing business alone. It will be in the cost column, but it should be justified by both existing business continuity as well as new business. And that's where Cisco's focus is. And the way we do that is in an architectural way where we bring our IP networking solution, which we are #1 in the world known for. We bring our security assets, because everything needs to be trusted and secure. We bring automation end-to-end, because when you are scaling something, it needs to be fully automated. And when you're looking at your customer's experience, it needs to be fully automated. We're bringing our mobility technologies, especially packet core. That's an asset that Cisco has. So we bring that in connection with the IP network, so it's combined with that. And then, as you heard at Cisco Live, data is spreading out, content is spreading out. Now, it's not just in one instance of cloud, but it's in multi-cloud, it's in telco cloud, it's moving to the edge. So innovation needs to move there. So our data center assets are very critical to that, and we're focused on that aspect. And then it's not just about connectivity, it's about safe connectivity, it's about security services, it's about not just about connection, it's about collaboration. So Cisco has all these value-added services on top of connectivity that we can offer to enterprises, that we can offer to people who are doing IoT services, we can offer it to video gamers, we can offer it to consumers. So bringing that extra layer of innovation on top that enables new revenue generating services. So in this whole architectural fashion is our focus. And I feel that's a unique proposition in the industry and nobody else has it.
Yeah, I would totally agree with you because, I mean, throughout these days at Cisco Live Barcelona, we've been speaking about decentralizing the data center, right? So like the data is just where, the data center is where the data resides. We've been talking a lot about security and how security spans our whole full portfolio, which you're explaining now about, Cisco being well positioned for the service providers, 5G future. It just kind of connects all of these dots of everything we spoke about for the last 2 days, right? 2.5 days, I should say. Yeah, and could you comment on the Singularity Networks acquisition we announced, the intent to acquire Singularity Networks this week?
Yeah, I think we continue to invest in what we believe is important for our customers, and automation clearly is an area of great importance to the service provider community. Singularity brings amazing talent and technology to our automation portfolio, which we are extremely excited about, and is very relevant to the SP. So more when we complete the acquisition, but excited about it.
Right. Well, Sumit, thank you so much for being with us here. Great to hear all these trends and your views on the industry. And now back to the studio.
Thanks so much, Agarim, and thank you, Sumit Arora. Terrific innovation showcase. This is why you have to be live at the show with us, is to be able to be in the room and feel that dynamic and that energy, and Sumit brought it across really beautifully. We're going to put a button on service provider, although we've covered so much, I feel, in the last couple of segments. Make sure, if you are here at the show, to visit the Cisco Showcase, dive in with our SP Hub over in the platform for digital business. You can get to that with cisco.com/solutions/service provider. All right, right now, we are going to take a very short break. Do not go anywhere. We're going to be right back here on the set. We've got another interview coming up. We'll see you in just a moment. And welcome back to the broadcast, wherever you are tuning in. Thank you so much for being here with us. We have got the fabulous Rob Salvano here in the studio. How are you, my friend?
Doing well, thank you, Steve.
Good to be chatting with each other. Yeah. We haven't talked with each other since Orlando. I think I'm so glad to have you with me here now. Rob is our VP and head of corporate development and Cisco investments. I always love talking Cisco investments because it's very real for people. This is where the rubber hits the road. Cisco has got such a view toward the future and bringing along those next great innovations that are going to change the industry. What is it like from your perspective? You're the guy who's really at the helm of all of this.
Well, Steve, first, I think I actually have the most exciting job at Cisco.
You may. I thought I had it, and then I met you, and I decided, no, it's all yours.
Yours is pretty good. The reason I'm so excited, and especially relative to today's conference and what we have happening here at Cisco Live, is a lot of what we're hearing around Cisco Live is about Cisco's tremendous internal innovations, right? And look, I've been here for 19 years, and so what we're seeing from an internal perspective is tremendous, right? Catalyst 9000, DNA Center, ACI, we saw the data center announcements earlier this week, but I'm really focused on how we can complement that, and complement that by focusing on external innovation, right? What is happening in the startup ecosystem, using that to help inform Cisco's strategy, where we may want to go next, have an ability to see around corners, and also use the power of that outside innovation to bring it into Cisco through things like acquisitions, which ultimately our customers get to benefit from.
I just love that. We've been spending a lot of time this week here at Cisco Innovation and the investment area. We love it because, again, it's great storytelling. How do you take that internal view here at Cisco and turn that outward to get people to pay attention and want to be a part of our Cisco ecosystem?
Yeah, great question. So today, Cisco is a very active participant from a corporate venture standpoint, and we're investing hundreds of millions of dollars a year in the ecosystem. And you know what? We're doing it on a global basis. So in the US, in Europe, in APJ, in China, in Israel. So regardless of where relevant innovation may be occurring, we're trying to put Cisco in the best position to see that. And what's that focus? That focus is actually a strategic one. So we want to use that as a forward-looking lens. We want to understand where technology may be going. We want to understand a new market that's potentially coming around the corner and get there quicker. That's something that we use to inform Cisco's strategy, but more and more, it's something that we bring into our customers' conversations as well. Because look, they've got a ton of technology coming at them. And the question is, what do you need to be prepared for? And so if we can provide a lens into that, we can also help our customers navigate all the stuff that's coming at them as well.
Beautifully put. Tell me about the trends. What are we seeing in terms of examples, specific hardcore examples of where Cisco's engagement with the startup ecosystem has really benefited our customers? It's been a payoff for them where we can say, see, this is why we're doing what we're doing.
Yeah, great question. Maybe I will link investments to some big transitions that Cisco has helped really drive over the years. So first, security. Security's probably been one of our most active areas from an investment and M&A perspective. And today, Cisco Umbrella is really Cisco's leading effort to be relevant from a cloud security perspective. Well, what's interesting is Umbrella actually started off as an investment that Cisco made in OpenDNS years ago. And we invested in that when cloud security, it was just, it was an emerging buzzword. But we were able to align around a company that we thought was embodying that trend. We partnered with them closely during that time period. And then when it was obvious that that market was taking off, we said, look, that's got to be something that's part of the Cisco portfolio. And today, look at it. OpenDNS, now Umbrella, it is a foundational part of Cisco's security portfolio. So I think that's a great example going from investment to, in this case, acquisition, to a core part of our security architecture.
And it's one of the reasons that Chuck has laid out those 5 key elements of serving the world, right? Security is foundational. It affects every single technology and capability we offer throughout the Cisco portfolio.
Absolutely.
How do we then decide, okay, so security, we want to look at security. How else do we decide where to target out there in the startup market?
That's a great question. So if you look at my team, I've got a global team, and we pride ourselves in spending most of our time outside of Cisco. And we're spending time in 2 camps, with customers and with startups. So customers help us have that connection in terms of where are the business challenges that people are dealing with. And at the same time, we have that Cisco lens, right? We understand where Cisco is with regards to its security efforts, its collaboration efforts. And then the second half of the time, we're spending outside of Cisco, right? With the startup community. And so you put all that together, we get the customer environment, we get where Cisco's at, we have a lens in terms of where all these startups are trying to innovate, and we kind of connect all those dots. That's what we're really here to do.
Now, we're pretty unique in this environment in terms of the scope, and I think a lot of people don't necessarily know the scope of what Cisco Investments is all about. Statistic me. Just go ahead and run me into the weeds now. What exactly are we accomplishing?
All right, let's go there.
Go there. Talk to me in terms of dollars.
I've got a global team.
Yeah.
We're investing $200 to $300 million on an annual basis.
200 to 300 million per year.
Yes. That is put to work globally across all the geographies. A third of my team is outside of the US, so we have people in all the relevant regions. Because you know what? Innovation is global. What investments look like today? We're typically investing $3, $4, $5 million into a company. As part of that, we're usually getting a position on their board. That's where the visibility starts. We're sitting there with the executive team, with the board, and understanding what that company is seeing and what it may do next. That is the beginning of where that market learning starts. And we're directing that effort in terms of 2 camps. One is, our first investment focus is around the areas that Cisco's in today, right? Security, collaboration, data center, IoT, the network. Multi-billion-dollar businesses still undergoing a lot of change.
Oh, yeah.
So we have to be there. And investments that we make there are often areas that we partner closely with. So it's a direct tie to something that can benefit our portfolio today. But we don't stop there, because this is about having a lens into the future, right? Understanding where things are going. And that's not just this year. This is over the next 3 years, the next 5 years, the next 10 years. So the other part of our investment strategy is to invest in those areas which may be relevant to Cisco, or it may be relevant to some of our customers down the line. And so we've got a pretty comprehensive view based on that effort.
It's really crazy exciting. For people who want to know a little bit more, how can they get involved? How can they learn all the details of what's going on with Cisco Investments?
You've got to get involved.
Oh yeah.
Many ways to do it. First, here, Cisco Live, we've done 5, 6, 7 of these shows over the years. We have dozens of our portfolio companies here in our investment village. So that is a subset of our investment portfolio. We invest in hundreds of companies. We've got dozens of them here in our investment village today, and they represent some of the most exciting companies in the technology landscape. So that's one. Okay. 2, we're all over social media. Go to CiscoInvestments.com, you'll see our entire portfolio by priority area, data center, collaboration, security, and by region. You can slice it and dice it any way you want. So we're transparent about where we invest.
So cool.
Third,
really quick third.
We have an ability to put together a custom event for our customers. Reach out to your account manager if you want to do that, because we can bring that insight directly to you.
Love it. Rob, I'm so excited about what you guys are doing. Congratulations to you and your team. Incredible success. You really are driving the future of Cisco, and for all of us who are watching what you do, it's great to watch. So
thank you very much, and have a great Cisco Live.
Thanks so much, Rob. All right, so again, another one of these terrific innovation areas here at Cisco that we want you to be a part of. For all of you who are watching, wherever you are watching from, get on board all the ways that Rob just told you how to do it. We are going to run to a replay of our fantastic innovation showcase on security. Jeff Reed, our Senior VP of Product Management, talked about the future of the firewall. Enjoy this replay. We will see you on the other side. Thanks so much for being with us here at Cisco TV.
And now, welcome back to the Cisco TV studio, and here we are, and now the topic is security, right? So I think security is really top of mind of each and every customer of ours, considering a lot of the latest breaches, attacks that are